Kamusta na mga ka-DDS? Meron natin mga kababayan ang explanation ni Atty. Nel regarding dun sa mga comment ng ibang mga senador na hindi daw kailangan sundin ang desisyon ng Supreme Court na unconstitutional ang impeachment na isinampa kay BP Inday Sara Duterte. Magandang content ito mga kababayan, tutorial niya. Tsaka will explain niya dito. Panoorin natin.
Okay, so good day po taong bayan at ngayon po magdi-discuss tayo ng Constitutional Law 101. Magba-back to basics po tayo with regard the structure ng government natin and yung mga limitations, functions po ng mga powers ng kada isang branch po ng gobyerno natin. Kasi yung ilan po nating mga senators and mga congressmen, they seem to not fully understand po the concept and structure of our government. Okay, I am saying this respectfully as a lawyer who interprets the law and based po on my knowledge of constitutional law. So hindi ko po sinasabi na ako naman yung pinakamatalino sa lahat, pero yung explain ko po sa inyo is yung pinaka-basic po na tinuturo sa amin as freshmen, as first-year law students. Tapos bahala na lang po kayong mag-decide kung tingin ba ninyo itong explain ko is tama or kung ito bang mga statements ng mga senators natin ay yung tama. Kayo na po mag-conclude doon. So unang-una po, of course, we have to go to the Constitution, okay? So kung makikita nga ninyo, Article 6, Legislative, Article 7, Executive, Article 8, Judicial Department. From the very way po na inorganize yung tatlong branches ng government na to, makikita na po ninyo talaga yung wisdom ng paggawa po ng Constitution natin. So anyway, punta po muna tayo sa Legislative Branch. So yung Legislative Branch po, ito yung Congress, okay? So this is composed of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. At lagi po yan sa Section 1 po ng bawat article, doon natin makikita yung power ng bawat government branch. So for the legislative department po, yung Congress natin, the legislative power shall be vested in the Congress. Okay? So when you say legislative power, ito po yung kapangyarihan nila na gumawa ng batas. Okay? So ang paggawa po ng batas is with Congress or the legislative department as provided for by Section 1, Article 6 of the 1987 Constitution. Okay? Ang next po, Article 7 naman tayo. So sa Article 7 po, this one, executive department. So the executive department, ito po yung Office of the President, yung mga local government units natin. At ang sabi po sa Section 1, the executive power shall be vested in the President of the Philippines. Okay? So yung executive power po, ito yung kapangyarihan to implement and enforce the laws na ginagawa po ng Congress natin. So kung makita pa lang po ninyo, Article 6, Congress po yung may kapangyarihan gumawa ng batas. Article 7, the next succeeding article, ang may kapangyarihan mag-implement ng batas. So kung makita nyo, diba, it is very well organized. And then yung next po dyan, of course, is Article 8, the Judicial Department. Ito na po yung mga korte natin, which is headed by none other than the Supreme Court po of the Republic of the Philippines. Okay? Other than the Supreme Court po of the Republic of the Philippines. Okay? Tapos kung makita po ninyo dyan under Section 1, Paragraph 2 of Article 8, very specific po yung power ng judiciary natin dyan. So judicial power includes the duty of the courts of justice to settle actual controversies involving rights which are legally demandable and enforceable, to determine whether or not there has been grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part of any branch or instrumentality of the government. So kung makita po ninyo, very powerful po talaga itong Paragraph 2 because this gives the absolute power of judicial review sa Supreme Court with the only requirement na yung trabaho nila is to determine kung whether or not meron bang grabing pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan ang any branch of the government, may it be the executive or the legislative branch. Okay? So ang pinaka-point ko po talaga dito, Supreme Court ang may final say kung paano ma-interpret yung mga batas natin at yung mga actions po ng mga government offices natin kung meron nga bang grabing pang-aabuso ng kapangyarihan na nangyari. Okay? So yan po yung pinaka-basic and fundamental po ng of government natin. At yan po tinuturo sa mga first year law students. Constitutional Law 1 po, tinuturo agad to sa very first semester. Okay? So hindi po yun yung ibig sabihin nun because again, unang-una tingnan po ninyo Section 1, Paragraph 2 of Article 8 specifically nakalagay dyan, that is an absolute power of the judiciary to determine whether or not there has been grave abuse of discretion in any part or action of the government of the Republic of the Philippines. Tapos kung basahin po rin ninyo yan, wala namang qualifications nakalagay, di ba? It does not make mention na exempted yung impeachment proceedings. So kung wala pong exemption na ganun for impeachment proceedings, therefore this power can also be to determine kung nasunod ba talaga yung constitutional provisions in relation to the initiation of impeachment proceedings. Hindi po yan judicial overreach or hindi po yan violation of the checks and balances. This is actually done intentionally kasi hindi naman pwede na yung Congress na yung gagawa ng batas, sila yung gagawa ng mga certain actions like that of impeachment proceedings, tapos sila pa yung magche-check sa sarili nila. That is very illogical, di ba? Kasi wala naman pong reasonableng tao na magpa-file ng kaso or mag-initiate ng impeachment proceedings tapos sasabihin nila pag-file nila na may namali sila sa procedure. Walang tao nga amin na ganyan, di ba? That is highly illogical and highly unreasonable. Kaya nga binigay ngayon yung kapangyarihan to review all the actions sa judiciary para po may third force na magche-check at babalansehin yung mga actions po ng government branches natin. Hindi po yan abuse on the part of the judiciary kasi that is expressly provided in the Constitution. Diba? That is a clear provision, Section 1, Paragraph 2. Demandable, enforceable, and to determine whether or not there has been a grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction on the part of any branch or instrumentality of the government, period. Diba? Wala namang nagsabi dyan na exempted yung mga impeachment proceedings eh. So, yung point ko lang po talaga dito, wag po sana natin i-confuse yung Filipino people, yung taong bayan, just to push for our political agenda. Kasi sasabihin ninyo ngayon na judicial overreach or ano daw, bakit daw ganyan unfair. Hindi po yan unfair because nasa Constitution po yan natin. Yan yung trabaho talaga ng Supreme Court. Okay? So, anyway, ngayon punta na po tayo sa Maritesan portion para magsabi po ako ng mga personal opinions ko regarding this po sa mga statements na ganito ng mga honorable senators and congressmen natin. So ito po, makikita ninyo, I was just told by a legal luminary that in this situation, we can disregard the SC decision. Pag-aaralan ko muna bago ako mag-comment. So alam nyo, masasabi ko lang po dito, unang-una, sino ba tong legal luminary na to? Diba? Because a legal luminary, that means that's probably a lawyer or a judge or anyone who is involved with the judiciary or in the lawyering profession. So kung sasabihin mo, disregard the SC decision, alam mo po ibig sabihin yan? It means he is advising Senator Tito Sotto to commit a criminal act. Okay? And the reason kung bakit ko po sinabi criminal act yan. Kasi kung tingnan po ninyo sa Civil Code natin, Article 8. So anyway, ito po, Republic Act 386, an act to ordain and institute the Civil Code of the Philippines. Article 8, judicial decisions applying or interpreting the laws or the Constitution shall form part of the legal system of the Philippines. Okay? So ibig sabihin po niyan, yung mga decision ng Supreme Court, they become part of the law of the land. Nagiging batas po yan. So ngayon, itong legal luminary, ini-advise si Senator Tito Sotto na i-disregard yung SC decision which forms part of law of the land. Ano po ibig sabihin yan? That is a criminal action, di ba? You are compelling, inciting, or influencing Senator Tito Sotto dito to violate a law of the land, di ba? Because that is already a Supreme Court decision, okay? And yung question na lang dyan, kung ano ba yung criminal act, depende na lang po yan kung ano ba yung actual na mangyari dito. Pero more or less, that will fall under misfeasance, malfeasance, or nonfeasance po of public officers natin under the revised penal code. So, dun pa lang medyo, medyo na ano na po ba? Medyo nakakatawa na. Kasi we keep mentioning this legal luminary. Again, kung titingnan po ninyo, yung ina-explain ko nga lang po, these are basic fundamental principles in our Constitution, our Civil Code, and like what I stated earlier, ito yung tinuturo sa mga law students sa first year pa lang po, Constitutional Law 1. Again, these are fundamental principles lang na pinapakomplicate po nitong mga politiko with clear political agenda. Okay?
Tama.
And yung isa pa pong masasabi ko dito, if you are a sitting senator tapos nakikinig ka sa mga legal luminaries na ganito, parang ano po, di ba? It goes against the very essence of a Republican government.
Wala kasing
diba?
alam.
Kasi the senator is elected into office because yan po yung inelect or pinili ng taong bayan. So kung mag-action ka, gagawa ka ng mga actions, decisions based puro sa mga advice ng itong mga legal luminary, it means di parang itong mga opinion pala ng legal luminary na to yung lalabas sa Senate, hindi yung actual, hindi from the actual person, hindi from the actual elected person na pinili ng taong bayan. So, yan lang po, another food for thought lang po for you, my fellow taong bayan. Kaya nakikita natin, it is very important na mag-elect tayo ng mga public officers yung may sariling paninindigan, may sariling katalinuhan, na hindi puro consult lang. Kasi pag ganun, it really defeats the essence of the Republican style of government po natin. Kasi again, kung puro lang from your consultants, from your advisors, lahat ng decision mo, di sana sila na lang po yung inelect ng taong bayan, pero hindi naman sila yung pinili. Ikaw yung pinili because the people want you to decide based on your expert knowledge or wisdom. Yan po yung essence ng pagiging elected public official. Hindi nakabase lang from mga consultant or advisors mo palagi. Okay? And then, yung next dito, yung kay Senator Joel Villanueva, whether the Supreme Court made that decision or not, the impeachment court will proceed. We will proceed. So, hindi nakalagay dito, pero yung example na binigay ni Senator Joel dito, dun sa isang article po na nabasa ko, is because daw may temporary restraining order before sa impeachment ni Corona, ni former Chief Justice Corona, tapos pinagbotohan lang naman daw ng Senate yung TRO na hindi nila sundin. So, ang masasabi ko lang po dyan, we will again go back to fundamental principles of law. Okay? A TRO po is a provisional remedy. When you say it is a provisional remedy, ano lang po yan, may provisional effect. Pag provisional po, it does not fully resolve the issue in a pending case. So syempre, pag temporary pa lang yun, provisional pa lang, pwede nyo talaga i-disregard yun kasi wala pa namang full conclusion as to the issue being presented dun sa pending case sa Supreme Court. Ang difference po dito, there is already a clear resolution of the issue, diba? There is a Supreme Court decision already that is immediately executory. Okay? So kung immediately executory po yun, that already forms part of the law of the land. Batas na po yan. You cannot just simply vote on a matter which forms part of law of the land. Hindi po yan ganyan. Okay? The only way para ma-remedy yan nila, kung gusto man nila i-remedy, and then they enact a law that goes against that Supreme Court decision. Pero the Senate Impeachment Trial Court, hindi po yan yung regular legislative body ng Senate na pwede gumawa ng batas. Okay? So yan lang po yung masasabi ko. We should not be, kaya nga lagi ko pong sinasabi dito sa channel ko, wag tayo talaga laging maghalo-halo ng mga bagay-bagay because yung assumption ninyo as a layman, it does not really work that way in the legal system. May mga paliko-liko pa po yan. Kaya nga nag-aral kami ng halos 4 years, diba? May bar exam pa kami. Kasi yun nga po, like in this scenario po, napapaghalo-halo na yung provisional remedy TRO from a court decision, hindi po yan ganyan. Magkaiba po yung scope at power ng dalawang yan. Okay? So ito si Senator Bam naman, matibay ang aking paninindigan na dapat ipagpatuloy ang impeachment trial. So wala naman siyang in-explain dito but more or less same lang po yung explanation or masasabi ko dito. So at the end of the day, kung makikita po ninyo meron ng Supreme Court decision na nagsasabing unconstitutional yung impeachment, yung initiation of the impeachment complaint. Yet these senators are speaking against that decision, against that Supreme Court decision. Doon pa lang po, sobrang kita nyo na yung ano nila, no? Yung pagiging unbiased judges nila kasi may klarong decision na, may batas na po, law of the land na yung decision, and yet they keep making these statements. Diba? Yan o, nakakadismaya itong bigla ang pagpigil ng Korte Suprema. So, klarong-klaro talagang unbiased to sila ng mga senator judges. Sa Senator Bato, sabi niya, the Holy Spirit defeated the forces of evil. Ito si Senator Kiko Pangilinan, he is a lawyer po. So, ang masasabi ko lang po dito, talagang isinantabi ang presumption of regularity because by the very definition of that principle, it is simply a presumption, di ba? A presumption can be overturned if there is clear evidence to the contrary. Yan po yung essence ng presumptions lang. Hindi po yan siya absolute. Okay? So, anyway, yan lang po yung masasabi ko tungkol dito sa statement ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan. And isa pa pong gusto ko i-discuss lang kasi may nagsasabi na sole power to try and judge daw yung Senate Impeachment Trial Court when it comes to matters of impeachment. Alam po ninyo, wala namang question doon, di ba? As to the substantive aspect of an impeachment case, klaro po yung constitution natin. Yung may power po talaga to try and decide on the substance is none other than the Senate Impeachment Trial Court. That is clear. Wala po tayong question or debate dyan. Pero yung decision po kasi ng Supreme Court dito, it is not a question of substance. It is a question of procedure. Tapos tatandaan po natin under our constitution, meron pong specific procedural guidelines doon, di ba? Yung 10 session day requirement, 3 session day requirement na referral sa calendar of business then to the Committee on Justice respectively, and the prohibition against the initiation of an impeachment complaint within a period of 1 year. Those are clear constitutional provisions na pwede talaga desisyonan at pakialaman ng Supreme Court kasi hindi na po yan substantive aspect ng isang impeachment case. So again, wala pong question na the impeachment court has the sole power to try and decide as to the substance, but as to the procedural aspect, since there are express constitutional provisions regarding that, Supreme Court lang po yung magde-decide dyan. And in this case po, yung Supreme Court, yun yung dinesisyonan nila. There was a violation of the 1-year bar rule. dapat po talaga maging objective tayo in all issues that our country is facing, di ba? Huwag po sana tayo maging blinded by our political fanaticism. Like what I've explained already here in this video earlier, lahat po ng in-explain ko, those are fundamental principles of constitutional law. Pero makita na ninyo na yung mga iilan pong public servants natin, meron silang mga statements na sinasabi that clearly goes against the legal structure po ng bansa natin, di ba? Kaya dyan mo talaga makikita na importante rin na either may alam po sa batas, lalo na pag mga public servants sa legislative branch of government, or kahit po hindi abogado, pero at least merong passion and love for the law and the constitution natin, na dapat unahin lagi yung masunod, yung batas po at constitution natin, at hindi yung mga political biases nila or yung mga kagustuhan po ng partido nila sa politics. Kasi tatandaan po natin, Section 1 of Article 2 specifically states, sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. In short, tayo po na taong bayan ang nagpapatakbo talaga ng government natin. It is because of our will why our whole country, the Republic of the Philippines, is functioning as a sovereign state. Of course, dahil po dyan, nasa sa atin din po yung magiging decision yan kung babagsak ba yung bansa natin if we keep electing mga leaders na clearly, wala naman pong perpekto talagang mga leader. Pero sana naman wag lang tayo maging blinded by our political fanaticism. That is my main point here. So kung tingin po ninyo biased ako, wala na po ako magagawa doon, but I have always provided my legal basis in my videos. I have always explained both sides. Even in my last impeachment video, yung sumagot po yung HOR, pinaboran ko nga po yung House of Representatives doon kasi yung present jurisprudence hindi pa ganun ka-strict sa legal side of things po yung Supreme Court. Doon po sa mga based sa old jurisprudence. However, dito sa most recent jurisprudence, ginawa na po talaga or in-emphasize ng Supreme Court na dapat basahin yung Constitution as a whole. So pagbasahin po natin yung Article 11 impeachment proceedings, which should be read together with the Bill of Rights also, hindi yung Article 11 lang. Pero anyway, balik po tayo dito sa final remarks ko. Again, sovereignty resides with us, the Filipino people, the taong bayan. So pag sinasabihan po or nakabasa kayo ng mga statements from congressmen, from senators na sinasabi na ganito yung gawin, so on and so forth, tapos that clearly violates the legal principles that I've already explained, tandaan po ninyo, hindi lang yung constitution or yung batas yung bina-violate nila niyan, but rather it is the will po or tayo mismo yung inaabuso nila. Kasi tayo po yung author and we have the sovereign will po as provided by our constitution. Okay, so yan po talaga yung kailangan nating tandaan. So anyway, if you like more legal videos po, may lalabas po yan dito na i-recommend ni YouTube algorithm sa inyo. And if you want to be notified kung may bago po tayong upload, subscribe lang po kayo sa channel. Until next time, see you all po. Bye! Peace be with you.